All right, game. The Dragon Age grift is almost over. Okay, people are starting to care less and less about it. Not very many people are talking about it anymore. People are definitely not playing it. But you know what? I intend on squeezing every last drop of grift out of this game. Why? Because I'm playing it. I'm suffering through the horrendous dialogue that is, and I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you guys and tell you guys that, oh my God, this is a terrible game. It's awful. It's trash. No, I'm not telling you that. It's a bad RPG. It's a bad Dragon Age game. Okay. Other than that, it's serviceable. But outside of that, the sales for this game are looking abysmal, and they have even more news coming. As you can see, this article from that Park Place right here is pretty much a sum up of what we've talked about previously. How Endymion had a source that told him that the game sold around like 500,000 copies. Smash JT decided to check in on his sources regarding those sales as well, and he's pretty much come up with the same thing. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Atreus. I am the Grift God, and we are grifting. Okay, goddamn. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So you got this article. Like I said, it's a sum up of what we talked about before. Their source is Endymion, Smash JT, and their sources. Okay, but also the behavior of Jason Schreier. Right? Remember, Jason Schreier put out that tweet saying that you know, get woke or top the charts. You know what I'm saying? You know, that goofy shit. And then he decided to delete that tweet, and the speculation began. Okay, the speculation is, if the game sold well, why in tarnation would you delete that tweet? So obviously you can see the numbers here. The game never reached 100,000 concurrent players. It's obviously getting its prostate ruptured by games like Black Myth Wukong or Baldur's Gate, which came out a year ago. So it's not looking good for the game. But now we got even more news. Okay, unhappy Dragon Age, the Veilguard players reportedly demand refunds in droves. Let's take a look at what this is talking about. Sources close to BioWare and EA have reported that refunds for Dragon Age, the Veilguard have reached unprecedented numbers since the game launched on October 31st. Man, asses are being taken.
Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain.
You're getting your ass taken right now. Okay, this is not good. No wonder they just want to move on to Mass Effect. If one were to keep their media consumption to outlets like IGN and Kotaku, they might be led to believe that that EA and BioWare's latest action RPG is an unmitigated success. The game received rave reviews, and many touted the incoming title's peak concurrent player count on Steam of 89,000 as a triumph despite never reaching 100,000. Now, granted, EA had to do that, right? They had to do that. EA could not afford to allow the normies to believe that this game was a disaster. They couldn't allow that, because the thing is, most people behave like sheep. Okay, that's just the unfortunate. Most people are go along to get along. They're followers. Most people, and I mean followers in the sense of unknowing, right? You guys come to us for content to know where you should spend your money and not spend your money. Normies are not doing that. What normies do, when a game release, they look at the reviews. If the reviews ain't good, they ain't buying. The reason why I know this is because I used to be a normie. Granted, I did play a lot of video games, but I was a normie, okay? When a video game came out, I was not looking on YouTube. I would go and look at the IGN reviews. If they were good, I buy. If they wasn't good, me no buy. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? That's just how it was. Then, I discovered, YouTube content creators who were covering this stuff, and I started to realize I was lied to. And then I decided to, grift myself because I wanted in. Let me in. I wanted to be a grifter myself, a professional grifter. Anyway, however, sources close to the game's development have been coming out of the woodwork to spill the story of what's reportedly going on onto prominent independent YouTube personalities. Simply put, it's not looking good for the once popular studio. YouTuber Endymion has been covering the game's release extensively. His source claimed that not only are fans demanding their money back after an unsatisfactory experience, they're demanding their money back in huge numbers. I am also told in terms of refunds that the game currently has at least 30,000 refunds in the past few days, which is not good for your game that has barely sold 500,000 copies to be hemorrhaging players like this. So generally speaking, Veilguard is not a commercial success. Now, I don't doubt that it's a fail. It's a flop. But I don't see, if you bought this game, right? If you bought this game, I don't see anything in this game that would justify you being that upset and needing to get a refund. I don't see it. The game runs well. The art style we don't like, but you knew about the art style before you bought the game, so it can't be that. While the combat is serviceable and you know at worst repetitive, it's not so terrible that you would need a refund. The dialogue is trash. The dialogue options are trash. The story's okay. I would say the story's pretty good, but the dialogue is trash. Crying out loud, the dialogue is trash. I don't see why would you want to refund now? Like, I think if you follow the online conversation, you had to know that this wasn't Dragon Age before you bought the game. Now, if these are normies, okay, fair enough. You buy the game, you're not following all the online stuff. You thought you were getting Dragon Age, and you're like, what the fuck is this? This is language. You probably thought you was getting Dragon Age, but then you're playing this and you're like, what is this? This is more like God of War. Makes sense. Look at this review. Dragon Age The Veilguard is an insult to longtime fans. It feels like a Fortnite season with its light tone and forced humor. A far cry from the dark, gritty atmosphere of Dragon Age Origins. An 8 out of 10 for how intense and immersive fantasy can be. Veilguard barely reaches a 2 out of 10 by comparison. The game goes out of its way to be inoffensive. Ain't that the truth? There's no real conflict, no tension, nothing compelling. The villains are generic with no complexity or purpose beyond being evil. Sola shows up, but only briefly, leaving the rest of the cast to carry a flat, uninspired plot. Wow. Visually, the maps and areas look good, okay, but exploring them is miserable. The puzzles are straight out of a kid's game, boiling down to fetching orbs to unlock paths. It's as if BioWare either threw these in at the last minute or expected fans to have no critical thinking skills. The map layouts feel more suited to an Overwatch map than an RPG. Wow, that's the second person I've seen say that. I think SkillUp said that. Did this person watch SkillUp's video before he posted this? With nonsensical traversal elements like climbing trellises or zipping across lines that don't fit the setting or add any depth to exploration. That's true. The combat is the game's lowest point. I disagree with that. It's a hollow imitation of God of War style. Okay, I agree with that. Stripped of any depth, combat mechanics are boiled down to repetitive cycle of dodge, parry, hit, and spam the same spell combos endlessly. Okay, I agree with that. There's no reason to experiment because one combo does it all. And the lack of enemy variety means every encounter is a dull grind against health sponges. That's why we lowered the difficulty. The tactical nuance that defined earlier Dragon Age games is gone. Using any ability triggers a global cooldown. Facts. Leaving you unable to strategize or chain moves. At higher difficulties, it's not challenging, it's just tedious. Facts. Then there are the companions. They have zero complexity or a conflict. Conversations are shallow, almost as if they're scripted by an HR department trying to keep things overly safe. Rook, your character addresses them like children, and character conflicts are laughable. One exchange goes, hey, you don't like dragons, but she does. Aren't you curious why? That's it. If this is how BioWare plans to handle character dynamics, they're missing the mark entirely. And let's not even start on what they've done to the Qunari, turning them into a watered-down version of D&D's tieflings, or I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sorry. Or how the character models look like lifeless plastic dolls. The game barely acknowledges choices from previous games, carrying over only 3 decisions from Inquisition and ignoring the rich choice-driven legacy of the series. There you go. I agree with 90% of that review. Okay, the combat is stale, but it's not the worst part of the game. To me, the lowest part of the game is the dialogue. Last night, if you had watched our stream, we were playing and we came across a interaction with 2 characters from the previous game where there were 3 dialogue choices as far as what you wanted to tell them. Your choice was, we need an army, we need connections, or we need spies. We literally loaded from our previous save 3 times to see what each dialogue option gives you. Would you believe that it doesn't matter whether you choose army, spies, or connections? Each time the bitch tells language, the woman tells you they don't have it. What? So your choice of dialogue doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what you choose. She's going to tell you, sorry, we don't have spies. Sorry, we don't have connections. Sorry, we don't have an army. You can't make this shit up. You just can't. You cannot make this stuff up. Where's my? I don't even have it. I don't even have it. So I'm just gonna hit you with this.
Hello, monkeys.
I don't know, man. So yeah, the game's not selling well. Reviews are not good. I think this is the final nail in the coffin for Dragon Age The Veilguard. It's unfortunate because I can tell the game has so much potential. Or if anything, this could have been a new IP. That's what it should have been. This should have been a spinoff. Matter of fact, just come out and say, hey guys, this is a spinoff. Because again, while the art style I don't like for Dragon Age, this could have been a quality game for another IP. So I don't know. You guys let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grift be with you.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.